for Kirk holding the space. All right, so remember,
Thanks, Kirk.
every adversity carries with the seed of an equal or greater opportunity. So I had a plan tonight. Sometimes plans are shifty. So we were going to be playing a recording from a previous one, but somehow it's not on my computer right now. So now my wife Mel is usually presenting with me, but she wasn't prepared to present tonight. So I'm going to be letting her rip. Now there's a chance, I don't know, if we hold the vibration, she might wind up, be able to get the baby taken care of, and she might be able to show up in just a little bit. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. None of my business. It's not our will, but thine be done. So we just stay out of the way. But whatever's happening, we know that it's going to be freaking awesome. So y'all ready to let it rip? All right. So here we go. We are going to step into the Awaken Your Relationships Masterclass, the secrets to manifesting love in your life. So manifesting means to make obvious what is already there. So this is about relationship. It's not just about relationships with a spouse or a romantic partner. This is everything is relationship. So this is manifesting the love, the relationships of all relationships, of every person, and really understanding what relationships are. There's all these different kinds of relationships that you experience in this physical dimension, but you're starting to manifest love from the inside out. And as you start, just like we heard before, I was talking about how, Mel loved me for who I was before I thought I was loved for what I did. Mel loved me for who I was. That pastor loved me for who I was. There was nothing he was getting from me, and he just loved me. And so when you actually find the love inside of yourself, the mirror will start to reflect back to you that love that's inside of yourself. So you get back what you put in. You get back what you put in. So now, normally we don't do a dance party at relationship segment, but we're going to do one right now. So who's ready to get up, get your booty moving, and dance like your relationships depend upon it, because it does. I don't know what song's going to play on here either. So I know there's a song on here, but we'll see what the song is. So get them cameras on, get those booties a shaking, and let's see what love has in store for us this evening. All right. Oh, here we go.
Life.
Okay, it's like an 80s song. Come on. Life will never be the same. Sing it. Life will never be the same. Here we go. Get up and dance. Turn on those cameras. Give it all you got.
Life will never be the same. Your mind.
another big round of applause. Life will never be the same. It's always changing. The only thing that's constant is change. Awesome. So I'm gonna play a little video. So now we're going through the 5 levels of consciousness. We went through level 3 with happiness. We went through level 2 with wealth. And now we're going into level 4 with happiness. So this is about relationships, about love. But this video that you're about to see, this is level 4 love. This is what love looks like when you understand where it actually comes from. It's not something that you get. It's something that you generate. The power plant doesn't have energy. It generates. It's something that you give. It's something that just overflows around you. And then suddenly you see it everywhere. So here's a video that's going to show you what level 4 love looks like.
เขาจะได้อะไรถ้าเขาทำแบบนี้ทุกวันเขาจะไม่ได้อะไรเลยไม่ได้รวยขึ้นไม่ได้ออกทีวีไม่มีใครรู้จักไม่ได้มีชื่อเสียงที่มากขึ้นเพราะสิ่งที่เขาได้คือได้แค่ความรู้สึกได้เห็นความสุขได้เข้าใจได้ความรักได้ในสิ่งที่เงินซื้อไม่ได้ได้โลกที่สวยงามกว่าเดิมในชีวิตคุณอะไรคือสิ่งที่คุณต้องการมากที่สุด
ไทยประกันชีวิตเชื่อในความดี
Now, that is a heck of an insurance commercial, huh? Wasn't that beautiful? So that's love. That's what it looks like. So on the count of 3, remember, we're taking our power back. How do we take our power back? How do we wake up? By taking responsibility. That's our litmus test. How awake are you is how responsible you are. So on the count of 3, you're going to shout it out. 1, 2, 3. I am responsible for my relationships. What? I thought it was your spouse's fault. I thought they screwed up your relationship. You're saying that you're the one that screwed it up? Oh, wow. I thought you said they had to change in order for you to have a good relationship. You're saying it's you? Wow, that's pretty wild. So I'm going to change the order right here. I'm going to start at the end. Well, actually, I'm going to skip through a lot of stuff and go right to the end, and then we'll come back and fill in the gaps. But I think this is really important. We've never done this part in the beginning, but I think it's going to be really powerful, impactful to go ahead and get this up front. So then you'll be able to hear the other stuff more clearly. So there's a thing that I say here a lot. I say that I love you too much to not offend you. Now, most people were taught to not offend your loved ones. Was everybody here taught that you're not supposed to offend your loved ones? That's the exact wrong thing to do. Who was taught that offending your loved ones is the exact wrong thing to do? That is the one thing that you do not do. So now remember, what the things we share here, they're not counterintuitive, they're counter-programming. So you are programmed to be a people pleaser. So there's something about people pleasers that I'm going to share with you right now. Some of you are not going to want to hear this. Some of you are going to be excited to hear this. I don't know why. I guess because you're putting the fun in dysfunction. But I want to just who are my people pleasers first before I share something. Who's my people pleasers out there? Oh, damn, we got a lot of people pleasers in here. Whoa. Okay. So people pleasers lean in. I think there might have been a handful of people that aren't people pleasers. So you all, the people who are not people pleasers, shut your ears. The people pleasers don't want you to know this. They don't want you to hear this. So this is for the people pleasers. Lean in. I got a secret. All right, my people pleasers. Guess what? I got a secret about people pleasers. People pleasers are liars. They're liars. You're a liar. If you're a people pleaser, you're a freaking liar. You spend your entire life lying. You spend your entire life being fake. You spend your entire life being something that you're not. The only way that you can possibly fail in life is to try to be something that you're not. And that's what you would spend your entire life doing, being something that you're not, so you can please people. So, but that's what we were taught to do. Yeah, but we grew up in hell and we said we're going to stop doing what doesn't work. And you know what does not work? People pleasing, because you have to be fake in order to do that. And if you're running around fake all the time, then all the people around you are fake too, and they think that they have to be fake. And nobody is telling the truth. Nobody is being real. Nobody's being authentic. Nobody's willing to offend someone to set them free. So I love everyone too much to not offend them. I offend a lot of people. And you know what? They still love me, even if they forget. Even if it pisses them off so much, they get so offended that they don't even want to talk to me. Well, guess what? At least someone loved them enough to offend them. Because remember, nobody has ever pissed you off. You pissed you off and you used them to do it. And the only reason you would use somebody to piss you off is because the piss was already in you. If you squeeze an orange, what comes out? Orange juice. If you squeeze a lemon, what comes out? Lemon juice. When you got squeezed, what happened? You got pissed off. The piss came out of you. But it was already in there, which means you had a thorn in your side. And I will come and poke at that thorn, so you will have to admit that it's there. And once you admit that it's there, then we can pull it out. So we were taught growing up that we're supposed to keep the peace. Who got taught just keep the peace? That's how you know we love each other, is we're peaceful. So this might be very surprising to a lot of people that were programmed and indoctrinated and domesticated into that bullshit. The goal of a family is not peace. The goal of a family is love. And sometimes it takes the exact opposite of peace to get to love. Sometimes it's the difficult conversations that you don't want to have that create the connection that you've always yearned for. You know what I'm saying? See, don't spend 30 years running away from dealing with something that could have been fixed in 30 seconds. You spend your entire life running away from a problem when you could have just faced it. You could have just said, hey, this is an issue. You could have called the person out on their dysfunction, but you were afraid. What were you afraid of? You were afraid of losing them. So you people pleased them, so they would like to be around you. Because if you're pushing at their wounds, then they're like, it's uncomfortable to be around you. So they try to get away. And if you're a people pleaser is because you're a manipulator. You're manipulating people. You're trying to figure out what they want so that you can do it. And then once you do that, that's how you're controlling them. You're making them like you so they'll stay around you. But that's not you that they like. That's something fake that they like. It's not even you. And you've gotten them to fall in love with something that's not even you. It's not even real. It's not even true. It's complete bullshit. And that's why your relationships suck. Because it's two liars, two masks talking to each other. And every now and again, y'all get a little bit wore out and a little tired, and then the mask falls down a little bit. And then they're like, what is that? Is that a wart? I didn't know you had a wart right there. Your fig leaf falls off. Like, well, that's a little bit smaller than I thought it was. But you've been hiding this whole time. You know what that is? Called false advertisement. And then you're upset at them for getting upset at you when they find out what's really behind that mask. When a lot of people get married and they say, till death do us part. Who are you getting married to in the first place? You don't even know yourself. You damn sure don't know that person. Most people miss the whole point of a marriage. I've never seen an actual true marriage other than me and my wife. We had a divine union. That's the first one that I've actually seen. Now, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of them out there, but that's the first one that I saw that was a true marriage. See, a marriage is not an agreement between two people, because a marriage is a covenant, and covenants are eternal. And you can't make an eternal covenant with a temporary identity. So most people are looking at each other and say, I swear all my life, I'm going to make you my God and bow down to you. As long as you bow down to me, I'll bow down to you. And you're worshiping each other. But you left the only thing out that matters. What's the one thing that matters? Love. And love doesn't come from people, it comes through people. You're worshiping an identity that's not even that person. It's time to start worshiping love. Put love back on the throne and say, love, you guide me. You tell me what to do. Not my will, but thine be done. I surrender. And you say, love, okay. And I made a covenant with love saying, hey, I devote this relationship to you. This is your relationship. You use this relationship. You use me and you use my partner. We come together as a divine union to be used for the greater good in the service of God. It's not in the service of our egos to make each other happy. We're not here to make each other happy. We're here to be happy with each other. We're to be in love with each other. I'm in love and my wife is in love, and we are in love with each other. But sometimes she can leave love and I'll still be in love. Sometimes I can leave love and she'll still be in love. She can still be in love without me. I can still be in love without her. And our job is to stay in love no matter what. You don't take your eyes off the prize. The prize is love. The spouse is the gift that love gave you. But if you turn your eyes off of the giver and start worshiping the gift, you're in for some serious dark times ahead. Don't trade in the giver for the gift. Don't trade in the creator for the creation. Keep your eye on the prize, surrender, not my will, but thine be done. And then you can have a relationship. It's okay to have a relationship. Don't let a relationship have you. So God, what would you have me do here? And then you just let it happen. How my wife Mel and I met, it's because we were both following God. And the closer we got to God, the closer we got to each other. Because God brought us together. Because we were created for each other. And the closer we got to our creator, the closer we got to what we were created for. And as we got closer to what we were created for, turned out both of us go in harmony with each other. We're working together for God's purpose on this planet. So we said earlier, stop hanging out with people who share a common past and start hanging out with people who share a common future. So you got to make sure that the people that you're with are going in the same direction as you. If you're still fighting, trying to drag somebody along, they don't even want to go there. They weren't even meant to go there. And now you're giving up you for them, or they're giving up them for you. It doesn't work. You got to keep going. You go. And then now, and so you make sure that you're holding hands with somebody that's going in the same direction. You're not holding hands to drag them. You're holding hands so you can actually support each other and go together. So, but you got to make sure they're going in the same direction. They share a common future. But it's so important because some people will be like, here, let me stop my share for a moment. Some people are like, all right, let me find somebody that shares a common future. And so they got their thumb out and they're hitching a ride and they wait for somebody driving by. So like say you're a little pretty lady sitting there with your thumb up, hitching a ride. And then somebody pulls over, the dude pulls over. It's like, hey, you need a ride? And you're like, yeah. And he says, where are you going? And you're like, well, I'm going over this way. And he says, oh, well, okay, that's where I'm going too. Hop in. Was he really going there? Or did he only say he's going there so you would hop in? You got to watch. You got to make sure that the people are going the way that, like with or without you, they were going to go that way anyway. You hear me? With or without you, they were going to go that way anyway. Otherwise, you're dragging them along and it happened from the outside in, not the inside out. This is really, really important stuff that I'm sharing with you right now. All right, so this is a boulder. And I'm sharing a boulder with you because I got a beautiful example that's going to be counter to a lot of y'all's programming, especially my empaths out there. Who's my empaths out there? I got some empaths. Oh yeah. You're going to see yourself in just a moment. You're not going to like it. Now I just saw who raised their hand. So I took note. I already saw you. Now you're not going to like it at first. The truth will set you free, but it'll piss you off first. So you're not going to like it at first. But if you let yourself receive it, you'll be free. So, sympathy, empathy, and compassion. So sympathy, you're walking by and you look down and you see somebody with a boulder on their chest. They're like laying there like, oh God, this sucks. So sympathy is like, oh man, that sucks for you. And then you keep going. At least you admitted that, like, wow, that sucks for you. At least you had sympathy for the pain that they're in. But then you keep walking. Empathy. Oh, this one's so good. This is my favorite. Empathy is when you walk by and you see somebody with a boulder on their chest and you're like, oh, damn, that sucks. Does that hurt? And they're like, oh my God, it hurts so bad. And you're like, oh shit. Oh, here, hold on. Oh God. Yeah. Let me get down here. Oh God, yeah, you're right. That does hurt. Oh my God, this boulder, this is horrific. Oh God, this is the most horrible pain. You're so right. Now, ow, this is your boulder and this is your pain. Obviously, it's not my pain because I'm an empath, because I'm super spiritual. I'm superior to you. You're a weak little bitch, but I'm superior, and I'm holding all your pain for you. I'm gonna feel your pain for you, so you don't have to feel it all. Oh God, oh. That's an empath. Super significant. I don't have any pain. That's your pain. I am superior to pain. I don't have problems. You have problems. So I'm going to feel yours for you because I'm bigger and better than you. So that's empathy. And then the third one is compassion. Compassion is that I love you too much to not offend you place. So compassion, you walk up, you see somebody with a boulder in your chest, you're like, damn, that sucks. And then you go and all right, hey, let's get this boulder off your chest. Has anybody here ever tried to remove a boulder off of someone's chest? And for some reason, the boulder was a lot heavier than it should have been. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Now, why was it so heavy? Why wasn't it budging? Because that person laying down underneath that boulder is what I like to call a boulder holder. Why do we call them boulder holders? Because they're holding on. Why would somebody hold on to their boulder? You want to know why? To lure in an empath. You empaths are actually enabling someone. You're teaching them the exact wrong thing to do. You think you're helping them, but you're hurting them. Because if they can lure in people anytime they lay underneath the boulder, then they're getting rewarded for suffering. Stop rewarding people for suffering. Now, compassion, here's how compassion actually goes. You go to there's a thing that I say to people. I say to victims, because I know they're not victims, but they still think that they are. And so they're running around in this victim identity. So I shock them. I say this little phrase, and it stops them dead in their tracks. It cuts through their bullshit pattern. So the thing that I say when somebody comes to me and they start whining about their problems, I say, hey, before you go any further, I just need to ask you a question. Who wants to know the question that I ask them? Here's what I say. Do you want sympathy or do you want to change this? Look, what do you mean? Now, see, nobody ever asked them that question because most people just start listening. Oh God, oh yeah, that's horrible, that's terrible. And that's what they're used to getting. They're used to getting the empaths. They're used to getting people to, oh God, yeah, to feel their pain. But when somebody says, hey, do you want sympathy or do you want to change this? All of a sudden there's a line in the sand. And they're shocked. They're like, what? Yeah, and they don't know what to say because they're pretending like they want to change it, but they don't really. Why don't they want to change it? Because they're getting candy out of the candy jar. They're getting something out of it. They're getting significance out of it. And they don't want to give up their significance. They're being able to manipulate most of the people on the planet with it. And they don't want to give up their manipulation. So when you say, do you want sympathy or do you want to change this? Now they got to make a decision. And it's fine either way. If you want sympathy, all right, great. That sucks. Go on with your bad self. That's what I do. I'm like, you want sympathy? Oh, great. Yeah, you're right. That does suck. So I'll listen to your problems once. That's all I need to hear. Once I heard it that one time, I'm like, okay, great. I got it. But then they want to keep regurgitating their story over and over because their significance is in their story. I'm like, no, you just tell me that thing once. Okay, I got it. Now let's get rid of it. Whoa, I don't want to they don't say that I don't want to get rid of it. They just keep coming at you to try to tell you why it sucks so bad. No, but it sucks because of this. It sucks because of that. Yeah, I understand. And it really sucks because you made up a story and you're trying to get significance right now. Why are you trying to get significance? Because you're chasing love and you think significance and love are the same thing. You think attention and love are the same thing, but they're not. Attention is the exact opposite of love if you're seeking it. You can have attention, don't let attention have you. You can have significance, don't let significance have you. If you're seeking attention, you're seeking significance, you have no idea what love is because you're seeking approval. And if you're seeking approval, you're fake, you're a people pleaser, you're shape shifting, and you've left the only thing behind that actually matters, which is the true you. So most people confuse love with attachment. So fear comforts dysfunction. That's what most people do. They comfort dysfunction. Oh, you're right. That sucks. And so you make it comfortable. You throw the pillow in the cage. So they don't want to leave the cage. But that cage is your cage. Like you're keeping the bird in the cage because you love it. You're keeping your friends in a cage because you love them. And you're making it comfortable in the cage so they won't want to leave. Fear comforts dysfunction. You know what love does? Love confronts dysfunction. Love will set the cage on fire and walk off. Because you know they can get out of the cage anytime they want. But they won't because they don't have a big enough why. They won't because people keep coming in. You got to stop going in that cage. If they want to be full of their bullshit, let them be with their bullshit. And if the light walks away, it'll get dark and it'll get dark quicker. And that's a good thing. Stop perpetuating the pain. The more you give them just this little bit of light and all this stuff, the longer they're going to take before it finally gets bad enough for them to say, okay, I give up, I surrender, and to let go of the manipulation mechanisms. Who understands what I'm saying right now? So most people confuse love with attachment. It's not love at all. It's an attachment. And here's what it looks like. This is why there's war going on in the world right now. This is why you've had shitty relationships. Every problem on the planet comes from this. So there's these 3 points on the triad here. Now, each of us play all of these roles. We all have all 3 of these roles inside of us. And we all know the tools, the manipulation tricks and tools to do each one of these. but we all have a go-to. Our number one manipulation tool. I already told you mine. Mine's the hero. So what's the hero's manipulation tool? What does the hero do? The hero feels like they're not worthy of love, and they're only loved for what they do. So they do for other people. And they think if they do enough, if they can save other people from their shit, if they can solve the other people's problems, then they feel really good about themselves. Like, oh God, look, I saved you. Look how great I am. They need to learn how great they are based upon what they do for other people. Look, I'm better. So what they're actually doing is they're comparing themselves to the victim. They're like, I'm better than you. And they're comparing themselves to the villain. Like, I'm better than the villain because they're asshole, and I'm better than the victim because they're weak and powerless, but I'm powerful. And they're going to see a hero needs to be needed, because a hero is like, why would somebody love me if they don't need me? Why would someone want me if they don't need me? They would just cast me aside because they think that the only reason anybody wants them is because they need them. So they need to be needed. So the hero, it gets a hit of it's a drug. So anything from the outside in is a drug. So they get their hit, what they're calling love, they get it from the victim. And what they do is they save the victim from the problem. And once they've saved the victim from the problem, like, wow, God, I really feel great about myself right now. And the victim's like, oh my God, you're so amazing. Oh, I love you so much. You're so incredible. Oh, thank you. So, oh my God. And what they're doing is manipulating you. You're manipulating them, and they're manipulating you at the same time, because they're making you feel all good about yourself because they're worshiping you. Boy, I tell you what, as a hero my whole life, as trying to be somebody's God, after when you get to the end of that road, it is horrific. If anybody ever, actually, let me tell you something first. Actually, yeah. Anybody ever been in a relationship, been a hero in a relationship with a victim before? Anybody ever done that before? Did you notice? Because maybe you're in a relationship, maybe you're a hero in a relationship with a victim right now. Here's the thing it's either happened before or it will happen soon. But it always happens. If you're heroing a victim, one day you're going to get a little tired. One day you're not going to be able to give it, like, their problem's going to be something that you just can't fix. And you know what they're going to turn you into in that moment? You're either their hero or you're their villain. Who's been a hero to a victim before, and then they turned you into their villain? Because you gave everything that you had, and it still wasn't enough. So like, you did it, you really gave it all, but it still wasn't enough. And so then they turned around and they called you a villain. Now, why'd they call you a villain? They called you a villain. It's kind of like with the in those old gunslinger, and they start shooting at your feet, and they're like, dance, bitch. That's what they're doing to you. If you're a hero, they're shooting at your feet saying, dance, bitch, whenever they call you a villain. Because why do you dance when they say that? Because you judge villains, and you're thinking villains are worthless, and you're comparing yourself to the villain. The only reason that you have worth is because you're better than the villain. And if they say that you're not any better than the villain, you are the villain, then you're like, bullshit. And so then you go work your ass off even harder to make sure that they don't ever call you a villain again. Oh God, please, what do I got to do? Please don't call me the villain. Please don't tell anybody I'm a villain. Please tell them all I'm a good person, because I get my significance in being a good person. And you got to tell everybody how good I am, because if you don't tell everybody how good I am, then they're not going to think I'm a hero. And if they don't think that I'm a hero, they're going to think that I'm a villain. If they think that I'm a villain, then it's going to be shown that I really am worthless. So who here knows what the hero's biggest fear is? See, I always thought that I knew what the biggest fear was. I always thought that, because I was a highly trained hero, and I thought my biggest fear was to fail, was to let the victim down. That wasn't my biggest fear. It would never even cross a hero's mind what their real biggest fear is, because their real biggest fear, it's impossible for them. They don't even enter into the realm of possibility for them. You know what the hero's biggest fear is? To be the villain. And so the victims are using, if you're a hero, the victims are using your fear against you and against themselves. because the hero gets their hit by saving a victim from their problem. The victim gets their hit by having problems and someone saving them from them. That's how see the hero saves somebody, the victim, from the problem, and the victim's like, oh, now I know that you love me because you saved me from my shit. That's the only reason they know that they're loved. So the hero thinks they're loved because they're needed. Oh, you needed me. Oh, you couldn't have survived without me. You needed me. I'm your God. Haha, you worship me. You won't throw me away because I'm your God. You need me. That's what makes the hero feel like they have value. But the victim, how they get their hit is they get saved from their shit. Oh God, you do love me because you saved me from my shit. That's how I know someone loves me, is if I got problems and somebody comes in and saves me from my problems. But if you're not saving me from my problems, then that means you're not my hero. Then that means you must be my villain. Now, how does the villain get the hit? Well, so imagine like a bullseye, and in the middle is love. And what you actually are is love. But if you forget who you are, which we all have done, then you're like, oh God, I'm separate from love, and there's this void, and I've got to find it. So you go to the next circle outside of love, and you go to attention. If I can just get attention, then maybe if people will give me attention, then I'll feel approved of, then I'll feel loved. But then if you still don't feel it, then you go for significance. Now, I don't just get attention, but I'm significant. And that's what's going to fill the void. And you're going outward to try to get what you are. You're leaving what is real in the pursuit of what appears to be. Love's out there, and I got to get somebody to give it to me. But you're leaving what is real in the pursuit of what appears to be. So the hero, they get attention by saving people. They get significance by saving people. The bigger the problem, the more significant. The victim gets their attention by having a problem. And then when you have the biggest problem, then they get the most significance. The villain, they get their attention by being an asshole. And if it's still not enough, so remember, bad attention is better than no attention to the villain. And it's still not enough, then they go for significance. They'd be the biggest asshole. See, if you think love and significance are the same thing, you'll go, the villain will go, they'll put a gun in somebody's face. And guess what? In that instant, they become the entire world of that person. Their life is in this person's hand. They become a god in that moment. You put a gun in somebody's, instantly, you're the most significant person in the world of that person. Got my hit. And it's just completely confused because it's an outward journey when it can only be found within. So let me tell you my story on this triad, which I was the hero, and you're going to see yourself somewhere in this story. You might see yourself as the hero, you might see yourself as the victim, you might see yourself as the villain, but regardless, you will see yourself and you will see all your relationships. So I told you earlier, once I had that, I was in the jail, and I said, from now on, every one of my decisions is going to help people. And I'm going to, maybe my happiness doesn't come from me getting happiness. Maybe it comes from making other people happy. And so that's what I started trying to do. And that's when I built the family. I'm like, all right, I've made all this money, and I gave everybody everything that they wanted, my whole family. I got a big, beautiful house. I moved my girlfriend in and her twin boys, and I moved my mom in the house, and they're all there. And I'm giving them everything that they could ever want. Nobody has to work. We got all the money. We're going on vacation every single month. We should be the happiest people on the planet. But the more I gave, the more they suffered. And the more they suffered, the more I suffered. Now, why? Why is it when all their problems were being solved, was everything getting worse? It doesn't make any sense, right? Well, it does make perfect sense when you understand this triad. See, I had a house full of victims, and they were all my victims. If you're a hero, you're surrounding yourself with your victims. They're your victims. You've got victims in a cage. And you know what? There's going to be a moment where it's like the kryptonite hits you on the chest and you're laying down and you can't save your victims anymore. And you're going to look around and seeing all of them dead, laying around you because they thought you were going to save them. And they gave up their lives waiting for you to save them. And they died because they thought you were the one. They thought you were their God. You thought it too. They thought you were going to make them happy. You thought it too. See, I thought I could make my girlfriend and her boys and my mom happy. I really did. I was like, I'm going to make y'all happy if it kills me. Well, you know what? I died. At least who I thought I was anyway. So I kept trying to make these people happy and giving everything that I had. But the harder I tried, the more unhappy they got. Why? Because I was coming from fear, from scarcity, taking action from fear that was reinforcing the illusion. I was reinforcing the lie that they weren't happy already. I was reinforcing the lie that they weren't sovereign beings. I was reinforcing the lie that they were victims every time I tried to save them. So if you're a hero, guess what you're doing? You're actually killing your victims. You actually are the villain. You're it right now. You're killing people in the name of love, trying to save them. You can't save someone from their shit. See, it doesn't matter what anybody says about you. Your mama can call you ugly. Your daddy can call you stupid. And it does not matter. It doesn't matter what your parents called you. The only thing that matters is who calls you. You. The only thing that matters is when you enact the name of God. I am. Your dad said you were dumb for 10 years, but it didn't matter until you said it. And then in that instant, all change happens in an instant. And you went straight to hell because you said, I am stupid. I am not worthy. And then bam, the full power of God dropped you into a world of suffering that never even existed in the first place. You made it up. You used the full power of God to make an illusion and live inside of it, a story, and live inside of a story that doesn't even exist. Also, you could be in control. Also, you could put the wall up to keep the pain out, because when you put that wall up, is because somebody said something, somebody did something when you were young and naive and heart wide open, and it stabbed you right in the heart. And it hurt so bad that you said, I don't ever want to feel that again. So you put the wall up to keep the pain out, but you don't keep the pain out, do you? What actually happens? You keep the pain in. It's already in there. And now you just locked yourself in a cage with a demon. But at least you're in control. At least it's not going to happen. Like, it's not going to take you by surprise anymore, because you go comfortably numb. It's like you're sitting in a room with a fart, and it starts to, at some point, you numb out to it, and you don't even smell it. And then somebody walks in the room like, damn, man, it smells like shit in here. And you're like, no, it doesn't. Now, you farted 10 minutes ago, but you thought it was gone because you numbed out to it. But they walk in like, whoa, man, what you doing here? You know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you keep the pain. See, it's not the snake bite that kills you. It's the venom. It's not, you can't drown by falling in water. You can only drown by staying there. Did you really have a bad life? Or was it just a bad year that you've been milking? Was it really a bad year? Or was it just a bad month that you've been milking? Was it really a bad month? Or was it just there was a few really big moments that you've been milking for 30, 40, 50 years? You've been milking it for significance. You've been milking it so you could stay in control, because never again is somebody going to hurt me like this. So you start to hurt yourself. You start to call yourself stupid so nobody else can do it. We've seen lately, there's like, all this stuff, in the past couple of years about like these kids in cages. And it's like, oh my God, how could you put these innocent little children in cages? And it's like very easy to judge that. Like, how do you not judge putting kids in cages? Well, you know why that's manifested in our reality? Why there's people out there putting kids in cages? Because you put a kid in a cage. Yes, you did it. There's a little innocent child that you locked away. Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. In the name of safety and security, you stuck Rapunzel up in a tower and said, nobody's ever going to hurt you again. Yes, you're ugly. Yes, you're stupid, but nobody's ever going to tell you that again. Yes, I told you that. That's why I'm locking you in the tower, because you're ugly and stupid, but I'm going to make sure nobody ever says that to you again. And you try to protect Rapunzel, and she dies behind the wall. There's an innocent little child in you right now that's yearning to be set free. But you won't let them go because you love them. It's time to let that child out. It's time to let them go experience the world. They're going to be okay because they're in the arms of love. But you don't think they're going to be okay because they're in your arms. You got to let your victims go. There was a time where I let go of one of my victims. But I was like, it's like, I gotta go save her. She's lost without me. I gotta go save her. And then God, it was when I was doing on my 40-day fast, God came to me and says, John, you got to cut every one of your ties, every spiritual tie, everything that you got to cut it with her. But God, she needs me. She doesn't need you. She needs me. And she can't see me because you're blocking, because you're in the way. She thinks you're God. She truly thinks that you can save her. And because she believes that you can save her, she's never going to see me. You got to get out the way. And if you don't cut those ties, if you don't get out the way, her blood's on your hands. I'm like, holy shit. So when I was in that house full of my victims, it got worse and it got worse and it got, the harder I tried, the more I saved the people, the more I gave to the people, my family, the worse it got. And it got to the point where my girlfriend at that time was taking 20 Oxycontin a day. Her boys were on drugs as well. Teenage boys, twin boys on drugs, punching each other in the face, punching holes in the wall, going crazy. My mom was on hospice. In the midst of all this, my mom's on hospice. The nurses said she's going to be dead in 2 weeks. I'm like, holy shit. Ugh. Why? I've been a good person. I've done everything right. I've done it all. I've given up my life to help these people, to make everybody happy, and they're all freaking dying. Why? You want to know why? Because when the hero gets the hit by saving someone, the hit wears off. And then you got to go at some point, got to go get another hit, but it can't be the same hit, can it? It's got to be a bigger hit. So guess what? They have to become a superhero. A hero's not enough for them anymore. They've been there, done that, and they're still fill a void. So maybe if I become a superhero, but a hero can't be a superhero without a super victim. So the victim is stepping it up as well. Now, I had a bunch of people. I had 4 people in my house that all thought I was their savior, that all thought I was their hero. And so let me ask you a question. So they're like, well, whose hero is John? Because how they know that they're worthy of love is if I save them. That's really what they thought. Like, if I save them from their shit, then that means they're worthy of love. That's what they believed. And that's what I believe too. I'm showing them how much I love them. Look, you're worthy because I saved you. If you weren't worthy, I wouldn't have saved you, but you are worthy, so I saved you. So you can know that you're loved. And I get my hit feeling all good about myself, and they get their hit feeling all good about themselves, but then it wears off. And they're trying to figure out, because now they're in a battle. Because they got to figure out who's the most loved. Well, how did we find out who the most loved is? Well, who does John save? So let me ask you a question. Who's the hero going to save? The lady who's getting her purse snatched, or the one who's falling off the building about to die? The one falling off the building about to die. So what was happening is every one of those, my family members in my house, they were all dying for my love. They thought my love would save them, and they were dying for it, and they were fighting for it. And how they fought was by stepping up their problems. The harder I tried, the more I gave, the bigger their problems became. It had to get bigger because they had to get a bigger hit than before. I saved them from a small problem, and it felt good for a moment, but then it wore off, and now I got to be saving from a big problem. And then I got to save them from a bigger problem. And they're fighting over who's got the biggest problem to find out whose attention, who I give attention to, so they can know who the most loved is. And they're all dying. for my love. But it wasn't love, it was an attachment. Because you can't get your love from a person. You got to go to the source. And most of you missed that. And that's why you suffered. You tried to get it from your parents. You tried to get it from your friends. You tried to get it from your spouse or your partner. It doesn't work from the outside in. Even if you do get in a relationship with the perfect partner, if you don't believe that you're worthy of that relationship, that beautiful, supportive relationship, what are you going to do? You're going to sabotage it. You're going to destroy it. Anybody ever done that before? Destroyed it, sabotaged it, because you didn't think that you were worthy. So here's how this story ends. So, all right, I'm like, dude, this is horrible. My mom's dying. My girlfriend's taking 20 Oxycontin a day. The boys, oh my God, it's just, what am I going to do? I just got to keep trying harder. It ain't over till I win. I just got to keep swinging. And I kept swinging. I kept swinging. And I kept swinging. And I kept swinging. And I kept swinging. I'm getting so wore out. I'm like, oh, and I'm just about to give up. But just before I gave up, a little hope arose. What happened is my girlfriend at the time, her brother calls me. And her brother, see, she raised her brothers. She was her brother's heroes. And she raised them. They didn't really have a mom. Like, she was alcohol. They didn't have a dad, and their mom was an alcoholic. So she was kind of like the one taking care of her younger brothers. And she wanted to make sure that, she gave them a good life. But you know what? They turned into drug addicts. And the one of them, he had been hooked on crack, and he started stealing stuff so he could sell the stuff for crack and get his next hit. But then he went to jail, and he was in jail for a year, and he gets out of jail and he calls me. He's like, hey, John, hey, man, I've been in jail, but I just got out, but I sobered up in jail. I'm not on crack anymore. Can you just help me out, man? I burnt all my bridges. Nobody will take me in. Nobody will help me. Will you please help me? And I was like almost dead already. And I was like, dun, 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 hope has arrived. Maybe I can save her brother. And if I can save her brother, maybe that'll make her happy. Maybe this is my final chance. I just got to save him, and then she'll be happy. So of course you can come into our house. I brought him into the house. Within 2 weeks, he stole my credit card, ran up thousands of dollars. He stole all my tools. He stole my bicycle, sold it all for crack. And then he stole my truck and stole my girlfriend's car and rented it out for crack while my mom's dying. And I was like, I can't do it. I can't live anymore, man. And I was ready to die. And I laid down my head and I said, I failed. I'm a failure. And you know what? I'd never said that my entire life. Why? Because a hero can't fail. You're not a hero if you fail. I couldn't ever admit failure. I couldn't ever admit defeat, because that meant I wasn't a hero. And if I wasn't a hero, then I wasn't worthy of love. So I laid down my head, said, I failed. I'm a failure. You know what happened in that moment, in that instant? Change happened in an instant. All of a sudden, poof, this weight just lifts off my shoulders and my head raised up. And all of a sudden I felt like this life. I'm like, what is that? And it's like this phoenix emerged from the fire. I'm like, what just happened? And all the weight was gone. And I looked down and I see that something just died. You know what just died? It was everything I thought I had to be, because I couldn't be it. And if I couldn't be it, then either I died or it died. And luckily it died. The blueprint, what I thought I was supposed to be, who I was supposed to be according to the programming, according to the domestication, in order to get approval. I couldn't be it. And I finally had to admit, because I poured my entire heart and soul, I gave everything, and there was nothing left of me. There was nothing more to give. And I couldn't be it. So if I couldn't be it, that means it doesn't exist. And suddenly, I'm not that. I'm like, whoa. Well, if I'm not that, then who am I? What am I? And that was the moment that my blueprint died. That was the moment that I entered into level 3. That was the death of who I thought I was supposed to be. And then it was the resurrection began. So at that point, then I just had to like let my victims go. I'm like, hey y'all, I know you're going some shit, but that's your shit. You're gonna like, I can help you pick that boulder up, but I got to ask you first. Do you want sympathy or do you want to change this? Do you want to get rid of that boulder? And now that's what you got to start asking your people. Hey, do you want to get rid of that boulder? If they say no, then let them go. Even if they say yes, but then they fight you for their boulder, you got to let them go. If they fight you to keep their boulder, let them go. Let them have it. Because if you fight back, all you're doing is reinforcing their need for the boulder, because they're like, ha, this is why people stay around me, because I have a boulder. But if you say, you know what, I'm leaving because you have a boulder, they're like, oh shit, well, I better get rid of this boulder. Now they got a why. Now they got a why to get rid of the problem, because you either get rid of the problem or I'm gone. Choose. Oh, nice. Some breakthroughs. Great. So after all of a sudden, whoa, my hero died. I thought I was done with this bullshit triad. I'm like, whoo. And I felt this freedom for a little while. But the ego sure is crafty. Infinitely, it'll come with a new angle. It'll find a new way to creep in. So here's what my ego did next. And if I got any heroes out there, you've either done this or it's coming. Once you stop heroing the victims, here's what I did next. I'm like, I got my lesson. Never again am I going to hero a victim. But you know what my ego did? My ego resurrected. And it came back. And it started heroing villains. It stopped heroing victims, it started heroing villains. And it was like, I'll save you. And it was in the name of unconditional love. I'm loving you unconditionally. And so here's how the hero, the villain gets its hit. Because what it was, my addiction came back. I'm like, I need another hit. I got to save somebody. But I can't save the victims, because I know that's where that road goes. So what I started doing is I found the villain. Now here's how a villain gets their hit. The villain stabs you in the back. And then you're like, oh God, that hurt. And then you turn around and you come back. And like, wow, you do love me. If I hurt you and you still come back, that means that you love me. Oh, thank God that you love me so much. And so then, for a while that works. And then all of a sudden you start and get jonesing again. Like, I need another hit, man. I gotta, feel worthy again. So what happens? They stab you with 2 knives. They stab you in the front and the back. Wow, God, oh, and it hurts even worse. Like, oh God. And then you come back. And now you get even bigger hit, because wow, if you can come back for that. And what you're saying to the villain, here's what the hero is like, they're thinking, they're like, you better be glad you got me, because there wouldn't nobody love you. You were a piece of shit. Like, if you lost me, you were lost forever. You were lost if you lost me, you're lost for good. Who knows what I'm talking about? You better be glad you got me. Nobody would put up with your bullshit except for me. But you know what you're doing? You're enabling your villains. You're teaching them the exact wrong thing to do. You're showing them, hey, when somebody loves you and supports you, stab them in the back. That's what you're teaching. Every time you come back and you're saying it's because it's unconditional love. I love you unconditionally. But what it is your significance. You're saying, I'm amazing. I'm the greatest in the world. I'm the only person that could deal with your worthless ass. And it's all for your own significance. It was never for them in the first place. You need to be real with yourself. If you really cared about them, you would call them on their bullshit and say, what? You know what? You do that again, I ain't coming back. Some of you need to say that right now. You got to draw a line. You got to say, hey man, that ain't right. Now, I'm not shaming you. I'm not blaming you. I know that I created that, and that was because you were a perfect mirror. We got all these people who's in a relationship with a narcissist, and they're calling their partner's a narcissist. Well, guess what? It appears without, though it is within. What makes you what makes your partner being a narcissist the perfect mirror for you? You're at the same frequency. Why is a narcissist the perfect mirror for you? Because you're a narcissist, because it's all about you. It's all about how great you are, because you can put up with the relationship of being in a narcissist. If they were just a normal person, it doesn't make you significant. You're only significant because they're the narcissist. They're the worst of the worst. That's where you're getting your significance from. And all you're doing is reinforcing they have to be a narcissist. They have to be the worst in order for you to get your rocks off. So stop bullshitting yourself and stop saying you love these people when you're not calling them on their dysfunction. You're not offending them, and you're just showing how great you are so you can feel good about yourself. You need to say no more. I love me. See, you train people how to treat you. And you train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. See, when somebody treats you like shit, don't get mad at them. They're not treating you any different than you're treating yourself. You're treating yourself like shit and using them to do it. You knew it was a snake before you picked it up. You knew what you were going to get, and you did it anyway. And then you picked it up again, and then you picked it up again, and then you picked it up again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you. Fool me 3 times. Hey, I'm begging for it. So you keep going back like a dog returning to its vomit. Blah, blah, blah. That's insane. Remember we said earlier, we're going to stop doing what doesn't work. That doesn't work. You know what does work? Loving yourself. And when you love yourself, you don't let people treat you like that. So you train people how to treat you by how you treat yourself. And here, maybe you won't do it for yourself, but here's the next piece. You train people how to treat themselves by how you treat yourself. I'll say it again. You train people how to treat themselves by how you treat yourself. If you treat yourself like shit, there's a lot of parents out there that say, I love my children more than I love myself. You do? Huh, that's strange. Because you can only love others to the degree that you love yourself, which means you're full of shit. I do. I love my children more than I love myself. No, that's all your significance. That's your suffering for love. And love never asked you to suffer. Love said, the only thing I asked you to sacrifice is your suffering. You'll never suffer enough to end suffering. You got to go first. You can love enough to end suffering, but you can't suffer enough to do it. So children don't learn by what you say, they learn by what you do. And you're training your children how to treat themselves by how you're treating yourself. So if you're suffering for your children, what are you teaching them how to do? Suffer. But I love them. Bullshit. You love significance. So, time to get real, y'all. Can you see yourself in any of this that I'm sharing? So earlier, we were going to do a breakthrough, and we didn't do it. And now it looks like we just happen to have a space right here. I don't know where this space came from. Maybe God rearranged some things because God's got a plan. And maybe someone has been praying for the end of suffering. Maybe it's you've been alone for a long time and you don't want to be alone anymore. Maybe you've been in a relationship for a long time and it's just toxic. Maybe you got family members that are just mean as shit to you. So who's got something going on in their life, whether it's relationships or just something that's you're not just tired of, but you're done with it? There's a difference between being tired of it and being done with it. Who here has got something going on and you would like a breakthrough right now that you're ready to be done with it? Not just tired of it, but you've been suffering and you learned what suffering is enough Okay, I got, sorry, Don, you just raised your hand. Oh, and Heidi's kind of sticking her hand up. Okay, let me see. Oh, I got a couple of, let me listen. Oh, and then Rob's got a hand up here. Let me feel, let's see who's. Has Heidi, have you shared anything yet, Heidi? Is this, oh, okay. All right, let's go ahead. Heidi, go ahead and mute yourself. If this is your first time, then that's gotta be, it feels like there's possibly a reason for it. Now, I don't know if you're the one yet. I don't know if you're, so whoever this person is that's about to go, what we're to do is this person is going to make the journey from the mind through the emotions to the heart. We're about to do a breakthrough. We're about to walk through, and this person's about to be done with some dysfunction in their life. They're about to be done with their story. They've been worshiping a story. And so we're going to let that story go. And it's going to heal from the womb to the tomb and beyond. It's going to heal for their entire family. They're going to let go of something. They're going to let go of a story, but they're going to let go of the attachments that the story created that is enabling and reinforcing the negative patterns. And you're going to watch yourself as this person goes through the journey. You're going to see yourself in this story. You're going to go through the journey as well. But we're going to hold a space for this person. We're co-creating this together. And so we're going to hold a space for this person to make this journey. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure that you seek. So this person, and it might be Heidi, we're going to find out. I don't know yet. It's none of our business. We just stay out of the way. So whoever it is about to enter into a cave that they don't want to go into. They're afraid of. Remember when I told the story of my brother, when my brother died, that was a cave I didn't want to go. I packed and stacked that, and then I paid for it later because I didn't want to feel what I really felt in that moment because it was too painful. And I never wanted to go back. But you know where my salvation was? In going back to that moment. So somebody's going to go back to a moment that they don't want to go to. And then they go in that moment and they're going to see the moment that they lied to themselves. They created a story and they lived inside of for the next 20, 30 years. And then they're going to go into that story and they're going to tell themselves the truth. And that truth is going to set them free. And you're going to watch, there's going to shift happen. And you're going to see in an instant, the shift will happen. And that person is going to wake up because they made the journey from judgment, from their mind, through their emotions, and into their heart, into the kingdom. And then they're going to bring the kingdom into the world. And their mess will become a message. So this is being recorded right now. So if you're going, you give me permission to share this with the world. Because it's got to be about, this can't just be about you. Somebody else is going through the same bullshit that you're going through. Somebody else is suffering too. And they're going to watch your story and they're like, dang, they made it out. You made it out. Maybe I can make it out too. And they're going to be set free as well. There might be millions of people that watch this. So Heidi, let's see if it's Heidi. We're good. And the rest of us, we're here co-creating this together. So we're going to hold a space of unconditional love. Of unconditional love. What kind of love? Unconditional love. And so Heidi, everybody, if Heidi's the one that goes, she's going to feel her feelings. So everybody say, Heidi is big enough to feel her feelings. So we don't need to go save her. We don't need to go rescue her. We're going to see her greatness all the way through. We're going to know that she's going to make it out on either side. We're going to be in the darkness with her, in the cave with her, but she's got to be the one that turns on the light. And when she turns on the light, boom, the whole thing turns bright. And then we all come out together and we rejoice and we celebrate as a creator wakes up and as all of us wake up together. So we're doing this. This is all of us because we're all one. It's just going to be one person is the one that's going to be, going through the journey and we all go through it with them. So, all right, Heidi, what's up? Why did you raise your hand? What's going on? What's the thing? How you been suffering that you're said I'm done with? What would you like to share? What's some fruits?
Just the pattern of in my relationships where I give because I need that significance that they need me, and I can fix their problems big time, but they don't really need me, and then they shun me, kind of like, and call me the narcissist, and that I'm self-absorbed by being there. And so specifically, I have 3 children and grown children with husbands and family, and then I'm alone, and so my significance is in how I can help them. Very dysfunctional marriage. So I get my significance from my kids. And it's really hard. And I work with special needs kids, so I get my significant.
Oh yeah, you're a superhero. Okay, that's great.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, you got I got the big problems right there. I got you.
So I help during the day. I'm in an elementary school, and at night and weekends, I take adults with special needs out and go shopping and have fun with them. So it's all about everybody but me. And then I wonder why there's a whole, like, why nobody cares about me. I mean, that sounds, it just sounds, when I say it, it sounds so, like I'm, like it's a self-pity party, but, my kids are done with me.
Thank God. Fuck. Let's give it up for her kids saying, all right, I'm done with your bullshit, Mom.
Yes, they are.
Stop using me for your worthiness, Mama.
Yes.
I'm not responsible for your happiness. You go find your own. All right. That's great. That's awesome. That's great that they did that. All right. So how does it feel whenever these people are like done with you? Like, hey, I don't need you no more. And in fact, you're hurting me. You're a narcissist. How does that make you feel about yourself when they start?
Well, truth be told, it makes me feel like suicidal. Then I really don't want to live anymore. And one time I ended up in the psych ward, and another time I kind of ran away. And then they were all wanting to 302 me. When I say I ran away, I moved, and they were like, dude, we will never talk to you again. Like, so it's really dysfunctional. And I keep blaming myself and searching for a way to fix, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Well, when you're blaming yourself, at least you're halfway there. But remember, he who blames others has a long way to go. He who blames himself is halfway there, but he who blames no one has arrived. Now, why is it blaming no one has arrived? Because now you're standing in the truth. Because what are you blaming anybody for? If you knew that love was the only thing that was real, it's the only thing that exists and everything is perfect. If you knew that truth, then why would you blame them? It's your fault that everything's perfect. It's your fault that there's so much love in this world. Like, what? You wouldn't say that. So you have to be in the presumption that something's wrong and that love isn't present. And then because of your presumption, what you believe to be true is true for you, even though it's bullshit. It's complete lie. It's complete delusion, but you're living inside of the story and you don't get to experience the love. So are you done feeling love being so far that you can't even reach it? And even if it feels like you're getting close, it's like you just fall over and it's just always out of reach. Are you done with that?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah, because, I've gone through so much therapy and stuff that I don't really hold unforgiveness towards other people, but my own self, I'm ashamed. I wish I compare myself to other people who don't have this crap going on in their head that keeps, like I'm my own worst enemy.
Yeah. Because you're in control. The only thing you're in control of is your suffering, and you are super controlling.
You're right. I didn't think of it that way.
But guess what you're doing when you're suffering to punish yourself for failing? Guess what you're doing?
Yeah.
You're punishing. There's a little child, an innocent little child that you stuck in a cage a long time ago, and you're actually punishing that little child. Are you ready to be done punishing that little child? That little child doesn't deserve to be treated the way that you've been treating them. Remember, Kirk said earlier, if I walked and saw you in a parking lot, someone talking to you the way that you talk to yourself, there'd be problems. You're literally like yelling at a little kid, like, you stupid, worthless, like you're doing that. It's time to end that. You ready to end that?
Yes.
All right. So you're going to keep your eyes closed along this whole journey, because you're going to experience it. You're going to go into the experience and feel it fully, because you got to feel it to heal it. So just keep your eyes closed. We like to try to open our eyes to get away from the experience, because it starts becoming uncomfortable. So just stay in there, keep your eyes closed through the entire journey. And so I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, letting it all go. And so in these moments where you're feeling like you want to kill yourself, what is the Number one limiting belief. What is it that you're believing about yourself that makes you think that you deserve to die?
That they would be better off if I weren't here. Like, either they don't need me, or I'm hurting them, or I'm causing chaos. I'm causing the drama. I'm the problem.
So the belief is I'm the problem and people will be better off without me. All right,
Yes.
so I invite you to take another deep breath in. Let it all go. What is the earliest memory that comes up for you when you remember feeling like I'm the problem, people would be better off without me?
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, how old were you?
Like 5 or 6.
What was happening?
My mom's very, very unhappy. She has, I'm the oldest, and she has my brother and twin sisters were born within a short amount of time. And she's,
Did you say your mom is very unhappy?
yes,
Kind of like you?
yes,
All right.
yes.
So they were 5 years old. Your mom's really unhappy.
And I'm her little helper. I help her with everything around the house and with the twin babies. And she likes everything a certain way. And my dad and I just try to do everything for her. But we can't, it's never good enough.
What's an example?
If we clean the bathroom, we mist underneath the sink, or if we wear a shirt, we literally, me, a little person, spraying the shirts and ironing them, and I didn't do it right. But never good enough. Never good enough.
So there you were, a little 5-year-old girl, giving your entire heart, giving everything that you got, just to try to make your mom happy.
Yep, that's it.
You just want her to be happy.
Yep.
Why she got to hurt so much? You love her so much. You just want her to be happy. What do I got to do, Mom? And you give and you give and you give and you try and you try and you try, but there's always something wrong.
Yes.
And this little 5-year-old girl is trying so hard to be enough for her mom. Finally starts to feel the pain of realizing that it's never going to be enough, that I'm always going to be a failure, that mom's always going to hurt and it's going to be my fault because I missed a spot. It's my fault. My mom's suffering because of me. And that little 5-year-old girl is about to take the weight of the world on her shoulders, and it's going to hurt so bad. She's going to decide that I'm not worthy of love. She's going to decide that people would just be better off without me. She's just going to want to just shrink away. Can you see a life built around the beliefs that people would just be better off without me? No matter how hard I try, I just screw everything up. Does that show up in your life a little bit or a lot of it?
A lot of it. A lot.
So, for decades, that little girl takes on this belief. That little 5-year-old girl makes a decision in that moment, decides that people will be better off without me. And that leads to a life of suffering, a life of trying so hard to make people happy, but no matter how hard she tries, the people get more angry. And it just keeps going. And it keeps going until she gets to this point where she just wore out and she just wants to kill herself. Can you imagine this little 5-year-old girl wanting to kill herself?
No.
Yeah, but she did. That 5-year-old girl is you. It's a little girl wanting to kill herself because you told her that she's not enough. You decided that. You decided that for her, and then this is your life. This is your destiny. Now, imagine if it keeps going. How about another 10 years? Another 20 years? How bad are you're going to suffer if you keep this going? And how bad are the people around you going to suffer? Because you actually need them to suffer when you try to help them, because you believe that you make things worse. So every time you try to help them, you really are screwing them up, because that's what you believe that you do.
Right.
And so they have to suffer, but they're suffering for you.
Oh,
Is that the life that you want to give that little 5-year-old girl? Is that what she deserves?
no, no.
What kind of life do you want to give her?
Just peace and joy and love.
All right, so let's go back to that moment when that little girl gave everything that she had to make her mama happy, but she screwed up. She just missed the spot, and it just wasn't enough. And she realized her mom was angry, and it was her fault that her mom was angry. And she's about to decide that mom would be better off without me. I'm making things worse. And right before she makes this decision, let's imagine someone shows up, someone that you would trust no matter what. I mean, this could be a fictional character. It could be God. It could be your pet dog, Blackie. It could be the Buddha. It could be a hero on Marvel Comics. I don't know who it is, but this is somebody that you really say that person would tell me the absolute truth no matter what. They don't just tell me what I want to hear. They're not going to bullshit me. They'll offend me if they need to, but they're going to tell me the truth, and they're going to get that truth through to me no matter what. Who would tell that little 5-year-old girl the truth no matter what?
I wish my dad. I wish my dad would have came. I wish my dad would have stopped. I just wish my dad would have stopped this cycle and just end it and tell me he loved me and tell me how valuable I was and how much he loved me. And see, I wish it was my dad.
Is your dad still around, or did he pass away?
No, he's passed.
Oh.
And he didn't, and so he was so busy trying to make my mom happy too, that I was invisible. And so in my perfect story, it would be picking me up and holding me and loving me and kissing me and telling me that he loved me and he saw me.
So were you here earlier when I told my story?
Yes.
About my brother, Matthew. And Matthew spoke to you, and he said, hey, there's people that you thought you lost that you didn't lose. They're here with me now, and they're okay. And he's with your dad right now. And he said, hey, there's people that you thought you lost that actually you don't know why you're here. They brought you here. And he's saying to you now that your dad brought you here to this moment to heal the past, to heal the present, and to heal the future. And so your dad meets you there in that moment, this little 5-year-old girl. And what is your dad sitting in heaven? He doesn't need to suffer anymore. He doesn't need people to have problems. He doesn't need to be needed anymore. He's actually knows that he's whole and complete, and he's full of love. He's full of life. He doesn't have to have your mom having all these problems anymore, because he knows that he's worthy.
Yes.
And now he can tell you the truth from the highest perspective. What does he say to you, and what does he do? So bring him into that moment. What does he say to this little girl that says, I'm never going to be enough, and in fact, I'd be better off if dead, and everybody else would be too. What does he say to that little girl when she says that?
He picks me up and he tells me that I'm perfect just the way I am.
Now, is he bullshitting you just so you'll feel good about yourself, or is he telling you the truth?
No, because I think he knows. I can feel that he loves me so much. And if he could have done it different, he would have. I believe him, that he does love me, and that he does care for me, and that he will hold me, and that he will protect me.
So your dad's going to speak to you now through me. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Did he call you Heidi, or did he call you something else?
Heidi.
All right. Heidi. Hey, thank you for showing up for yourself, and thank you for showing up for us. Thank you for showing up for your family. Thank you for raising your hand. That was courageous. I know that you were scared. I know that you were hiding because you thought that people would be better off without you. So you were hiding, but you stepped up and you showed your face. And I'm just so proud of you. And I just, it's just so amazing to see who you've become. And I want to thank you for bringing up this moment, because it's like the last little bit of remnants of stuff that I'm carrying around that, I'm in heaven, I'm good, I'm great, but it's just this last little bit that I've been holding on to, and it's time to let it go.
Yes.
And so I thank you so much for bringing us to this moment so we can let it go together. And so, Heidi, so let's be there. Let's be there together. You're the little 5-year-old girl, and I'm there, and Mom's there. And we see what's been going on. We see this pattern, and now I can actually see, because I'm outside the picture, I can see what we were doing, and I want to tell you what we were doing, and I want to tell you the truth, and I want to apologize to you. Heidi, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I didn't know how to give you the love that you deserved, because I didn't know how to give it to me, because I didn't think that I was worthy. I was still trying to earn my love my whole life. I was trying to do, and I was doing. I needed people to suffer. I needed your mom to suffer, because if she wasn't suffering, if she didn't have problems, then there was nothing for me to do. There was nothing for me to fix. There was no way for me to earn her love. And it wore me out, because I gave all that I had, and it was still never enough. And I was just so tired, and I didn't have anything left for you, but I didn't have anything for me. And I'm so sorry. Please forgive me for not knowing how to love you, because I didn't know how to love myself. And I just want to thank you so much for being such a gift. You're such a gift in my life. You're such a gift. You've set our family free. You healed this from the womb to the tomb and beyond, because you went back to this moment and you could see it, and you helped me see it. And now we're all free. I want to thank you so much for setting me free from this guilt, from the shame of feeling like there was something that I messed up. And I realized that it all had to happen. It was all for a reason. It was all for a purpose. And also, time is an illusion. And so we've stepped into eternity together. We walk into heaven 2 by 2, holding hands. We walked home together, and I'm at home, and I'm in your heart, and you're at home too. We're here together. And I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. And I just want you to remember that you are enough. You're not enough for your mom because you weren't created to be. I wasn't enough for your mom because I wasn't created to be. Love was enough for your mom, but she never saw love because she thought she was going to get it from me, because that was our agreement. And now the agreement is broken. I've let go as you've let go. We no longer need to be heroes anymore. We no longer need to save anybody anymore. We no longer need for people to have problems anymore. We actually can see their greatness now. Together, we can see your mom's greatness. We can see that she never even needed us. The only reason she was doing that is because she was suffering for us, because we thought that we still had to earn love. And so thank you so much for helping me let that weight go by just seeing the greatness. And even when she was trained to be a victim, but now we can actually see that she never was. She was never a victim. The story was strong.
Yes.
But we can actually see it was never true. And,
Yes.
Underneath that story, she's got a big, beautiful heart that is whole and complete and perfect, just like you can feel yours now. So I want to just tell you, Heidi, you are so worthy. And I'd like for you to repeat it back to me and use God's name. Say, I am worthy.
I am worthy.
Heidi, you are so worthy. Try that on. I'm so worthy.
I am so worthy.
I'm not enough for my mom because I wasn't created to be.
I'm not enough for my mom because I wasn't created to be.
I'm not enough for my children because I wasn't created to be.
I'm not enough for my children because I wasn't created to be.
But I am enough for God because that's what I was created as.
But I am enough for God because that's what I was created to be. Wow. Wow.
I'm not here to save anybody.
I'm not here to save it.
I'm here to go first.
I'm here to go first.
I'm here show the world what's possible.
I'm here to show the world what's possible.
I'm here to show the world that I don't need my children to change. I don't need my spouse to change. I don't need my mom to change. I'm going to be the change.
I'm here to show the world that I don't need my children to change. I don't need my parents to change or my siblings. I don't need my spouse to change. I'm here to be the change.
And I am heaven on earth.
And I am heaven on earth.
Wherever I go, heaven is.
Wherever I go, heaven is.
And I give heaven everywhere that I go.
And I give heaven everywhere I go.
How does it feel to be heaven on earth?
It feels light. It feels easy. It feels like what I was created to do and be, without the weight of
Without the weight. Yeah. The
without
weight
that.
of the world.
Yes. Yes.
We said we're going to stop doing what doesn't work. You know what doesn't work? Being people's God, being people's savior, being people's hero. That doesn't work. You know what that does? That only reinforces their victimhood, and that only keeps their eyes on you and away from the source.
Yes.
And so you got to be the change. Like if you love your children, and you want your children to be happy, you want your children, just like your mom wanted you to be happy, but you learned how to be miserable from your mom. She was your role model, but you're now going to be a role model. See, every one of us are making a difference in every moment, but some of us are making a difference that we don't actually want to make.
Right.
See, you've been teaching your children, your family how to suffer.
Yes.
Now it's time to teach your children, your family how to love. You want to take that on?
Yes.
All right. Well, start loving yourself. Start pampering yourself. That's the greatest thing that you can do for your family is to pamper yourself, to take care of yourself, to love yourself. Look at that big, beautiful smile.
It was so real. Like my dad was it wasn't your voice, it was my dad's voice. I really feel that he heard us and that he wants that for us. Thank you.
Well, that's true. He for sure did. So let's take a moment here. And when you see Heidi now, what do you see? Do you see someone who's not enough, who needs to keep trying harder, and it's like we'd be better off? Do you feel like we'd be better off without Heidi, or do you feel something different? Go ahead and tell her some things. So just tell her the truth when you look at her. What do you see? You can unmute yourself.
I see, Heidi, that you are so much lighter and more beautiful and shining brightly. And I just was so honored to witness your breakthrough, because it also helps me with my situations. I love you, Heidi. Beautiful job. I can't wait to see you again.
Thank you, man.
Wait a minute, Nancy. So Nancy, are you saying that you're actually better off with Heidi?
Yes, indeed. I'm much better off with Heidi.
Wow.
1000%, Heidi. Let's do this together, girl.
Yes. Yes.
Thank God Heidi's here. Who's like so happy, feel like you were incredibly blessed because Heidi's here, because you got to hear Heidi's story, you got to witness her journey. Who got to find yourself? Who found your heart when she found hers? So you can see that was a lie, Heidi. It was a lie that the world would be better off without you. Because you got these people, you think these people are bullshitting you, or are they telling you the truth?
Oh, I don't think they're bullshitting. They're here because they're honest and open and telling me the truth.
You just made a difference in my world, Heidi. I did that breakthrough along with you for the same kind of thing that I so appreciate you. Thank you. And thank you.
Oh, good, Amy. Oh, good.
Right. Well.
Thank you, Heidi. I really appreciate that story. It touched my heart, man. It touched my heart. I had a breakthrough moment with you also. It reminded me of my oldest daughter. I dropped her off at the airport when she was 12. Next time I saw her, she was 27. And I gave her the link to this show today, and she saw my breakthrough here and told me it was beautiful. So, man, that's a beautiful thing. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Looks like love's moving some things around in this world, huh?
Yes.
thank you all so much for just showing up. You showed up for yourself. You showed up for humanity. We all showed up today. Now this is really odd. I don't ever do this. We're 20 minutes early right now, and I feel like the day we did it. I feel like the day is complete. I feel like that was beautiful, and anything that we add would actually be subtracting. So let's just go ahead and rest and allow everything that we experienced today, just process, get ourselves a good night's sleep tonight. And we're going to show up tomorrow morning. Show up a little bit early tomorrow morning for Awaken Spiritual Gather, the spiritual connection. We're going to listen to some beautiful music for a few minutes before we dive in. And then, so we'll see you. So it's about 5 to 10 minutes early tomorrow morning. So like 8:50 a.m. Central Time. So great work, everybody. Give yourselves a big round of applause. Big pat on the back. Let's give some big love to Heidi.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
All right. Love you all.
you all.
Love you too.